Good evening, and welcome to Astrology Throwdown tonight, where we obsess about Napoleon. And now that we've found him living among us, now we're really obsessing. But we were obsessing pretty hard before, and it's anyway. So he hijacked my project, talking about Elvis Costello Cohen. He hijacked my project. It's pretty funny. So this is my new project where I do a lot of different things, and I love seeing what his ideas are. They're incredible, so smart. And it's so interesting that I'm thinking about something that I heard him talk about a lot when he was promoting A Boy Named If. So he made this incredible album, which is so important and meaningful to a lot of people, I'm sure, definitely to me. And what he said in some of the interviews was that it was about his shadow or somebody's shadow. He was saying that a boy named If is like your imaginary friend that you blame things on, and it's not cute when you're as old as we are. So I I think he was talking about the shadow. I think he even used that word. So what's important about this shadow? And I'm so glad that he's thinking about the shadow because the whole difference between what we're doing and let's just say the way Christianity has played out, which I think is very subverted right now. I love Jesus. I love what he supposedly said. You can talk to him yourself. I would recommend seeking him and talking to him and see what he has to say, because the spirit that I have had the pleasure of interacting with is not all that different from the person in the New Testament who said, "Love each other, but don't take any uh, garbage. Don't take too much from those bankers, if you know what I'm saying. Don't just let them destroy the temple." I think about that all the time. Such a great story, and I believe it based on the Jesus that I have had the pleasure of interacting with. I could see him ripping up a temple if some people turned it into a lascivious market. I could see that really bothering him, and it would bother me a lot too. So that's his spirit. He is not someone who believes in just lying down to die. I guess he did. He did lie down to die, but not really. Not really. He was dying to, well, anyway, I don't even know how much of that is true. I will say that. I doubt I doubt a lot of it is true, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to say, oh, he did this and he did that. But the person that I have dealt with is a tough guy, and he believes in fighting, and he believes in standing up for oneself. And I have definitely heard him encourage me to be somebody who stands up for the truth. And then when the dark occultist left hand path agents from that palace in England who have infiltrated our institutions, the enemy within crowd came up to me and started to swarm around me like some kind of ritual and figure out how they were going to neutralize the threat that I was presenting as an honest person. And I was really guided by Jesus to do these things. That's the funny part. And then they had me like so pegged as a fundamentalist, and then they were trying to like use the Bible against me or just try to use whatever tricks they had to like shut me down. And I'm like, I'm not really like that. So nice try. I do love Jesus very much, but I know what they did to that religion, and I can see what they it's horrible. So basically, if you go to church, they'll tell you, be good, don't be bad, do the right thing, don't do the wrong thing. Feel guilty if you do the wrong thing. I mean, that's basically the message you're going to hear at church, right? And Jesus was wonderful, and be wonderful like he was. Okay, that's good. I agree with that. I want to be good. I don't want to be bad either. I totally agree with that. But reality is that there's all these different energies, and we have all kinds of different sides to us. And there are things that we like about ourselves, and there are things that we don't like about ourselves that we're right to not like. But they're there, and that's the shadow. The shadow is the things about you that you are ashamed of and you wish were not a part of you, but they are. And then if you are into that sort of be good, don't be bad religion, you're going to feel terrible about those parts of yourself that don't fit into that paradigm at all. The be good, don't be bad paradigm. And then uh, they're the person after a lifetime of indoctrination in that system is going to split off the things about themselves that they don't like. And they're probably going to project them on the people in their lives. So we've all seen that where somebody is like always accusing other people of like the worst things about themselves. That's how it comes across when someone is unconscious of their shadow and they don't know basically what's wrong with them. And they're like, everything about me is perfect. You're the one with the problem. It's just so many people like that. So while I completely love the ideas of Jesus, love each other and be generous and don't and stand up for yourself. These are wonderful messages. I agree 100%. He's a wonderful influence, and I know many people do have that influence in their lives, and it is a tremendous blessing to them, and it's wonderful. But it, the religion's been subverted, and the reason I'm focusing so much on astrology is because there's a real acknowledgement of the two sides, and balance is necessary. There's night and there's day, and it's equal. And I understand the other side that I'm fighting has similar ideas in a way. There's no good and bad and all this stuff. They twist it to suit their purposes, and they use it to subvert us. But there's so much truth in what they're subverting, and I'm trying to get the truth back. And the truth is that um, I'm trying to tell you what's wrong with me, and I want to find out what's wrong with me, and I want to work on it. And I want everybody to do that too. I want us all to just get real with each with each other and ourselves. And I feel like that's what this whole project is about. Is about facing the truth so we can fix things. As long as we're pretending, like the Van Morrison song, the pretending isn't going to fix things. And that's what happens when we, pretend we're all good and we're doing everything fantastic. And that's pretending. And so when I became telepathic with Cohen, Elvis Costello, this January, uh, I was I didn't realize how much he's into astrology, but it's all over his last album, A Boy Named If, and I can see it in the other ones a little more, but certainly it's escalating from what I can tell. And telepathically, he was so insistent. I love how insistent he is. I like that. Um, he was so insistent that I really like learn our charts and like apply myself to learn astrology right away. He was saying, please learn this every day. Really apply yourself to this. This is really important. And I was so used to listening to Napoleon. He sounds just like Napoleon, so I'll listen to him just as well as I'll listen to Napoleon. It's the same person. I know it is. So I thought that was really interesting. I was like, what is he trying to tell me? Because he's a mysterious being, obviously, extremely mysterious. So I can hear what he wants, and but I don't always know what's going on. So he's got some big plan with astrology. I can tell, and now I'm doing this stream about it. It is his idea, so he has been dictating dictating the topic. That's so funny. I had to bring this up. I heard there's an article today, I don't know where, about how like Hitler was into astrology. They're always trying to tie like everything I do into Hitler because uh, so now Hitler was into astrology. Oh, and something with Liverpool too. It's so funny. This is what we call damage control because they're scared. They're so scared they don't know what to do. Oh, maybe we could connect her to Hitler. They're always trying to do that. The ones that we should connect to Hitler is them because Prescott Bush funded the Nazis. Oh, who funded Prescott Bush? Oh, who was his son? Oh, the director of the CIA. Oh, then he became president. He was in the freaking White House for 12 years. What was he doing in there? It's just skull and bones. Oh, and the other one. Oh, he was in the White House during 9/11. Who do you think they all work for? Can you figure it out? That's the ones that funded the Nazis. And they're always trying to attach me to the Nazis. And that was a fake populist movement. You know where you find about fake populist movements? In the Podesta emails. See, so Podesta does fake populist movements, and he works for that banking dynasty. It's in there. See? So, who do they hire to make fake populist movements? The Bet Dynasty hires people like John Podesta to do fake populist movements. And then they tried to force me into it. See? Q. Because they're trying to connect me with Hitler. Because it's what they are. So they have to put that on me. I want my audience to see them coming from a million miles off. I want you to be like, oh, there they go again. I got an email today that guns are the lead, the biggest cause of deaths of children in this country is guns. With all the child trafficking they do. Okay? It's insane. Okay, I'm telling you, they have entire huge organizations on YouTube pretending to expose it, but they're really covering it up. So, how big is this child trafficking that they're doing that they have to have such a machine to cover it up? And they've been trying to get me involved in it the whole time. Q is about getting people upset about what they're doing and then running us into a ditch with this fake populist movement. Oh, this fake populist movement's in the Podesta emails. Oh, I wonder if Q has something to do with John Podesta. Probably because John Podesta does fake populist movements. It's in his emails. You see, it's not very difficult to figure out what's going on. It's very difficult to get people ready to stand up for themselves. And what's it going to take? Good question. But we all need to look within and find out what our guidance is because that's the only way we're going to get out of this. And if we don't win, we're going to need our souls in very good order because we won't be here anymore. So we're either facing the other side or there's no continuing with them. They're caught. They're snakes who are caught. Think about that. A snake can bite all the ankles a snake wants until the snake gets picked up. And then once you pick up the snake, you can stop it from biting people. That's how it works with snakes. Snakes are very, 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 very successful for a long time, but they can't get caught. This is a very interesting thing. I've been talking about how I have this energy in my head, in my Aries. The Aries part of the body is the head. And I have this incredible fire energy that likes to start up. And I've tried so many things to lessen this or to run it to ground or to somehow deal with it because it was creating sinus infections and horrible allergies for me. And I still have allergies a little bit, but it solved the problem. That's why astrology is so incredibly important. Anyway, so I tried all of these things. And then finally, I just realized, well, water puts out fire. So water, which is like the wimpiest thing ever, Pisces energy is water, it can put out a fire. So it's important to understand that something can be the strongest thing ever, like fire, but then easily put out. And that's really what we're seeing with our enemies. They're so wealthy and they're so organized and they're so ruthless and they're so ambitious and they really are very hardworking in a way. You know, they work harder than we do. Look at all of us. If we were all working half as hard as they are. So they have certain qualities. But as strong as they are, as vicious as they are, as willing to do anything to succeed as they are, as great at lying as they are, they have there's something they can't do. They can't come out. They can't be seen. They can't really, they're snakes. just picked them up and they can't do anything. It's so easy. And people are so busy being scared of them. They don't understand. These people cannot come out. They cannot. I mean, John Podesta is completely caught. That thing is full of emails. The only reason he's skating is because they haven't thrown him into the volcano yet. Oh, and they may, because they let those emails out. I don't buy. I'm not going to insult anybody right now, but those emails were let out. And I have all kinds of theories why those emails were let out. But I don't think John Podesta was happy that they let those emails out. I think they betrayed him. And he's so stuck with them. These are all my theories. He's so stuck with them, he has to continue to fight for them. But he must be furious because they threw him out. They threw him out for that little trick. Okay. I would be furious if I were John Podesta. And he worked very hard, Mr. Capricorn. He worked very hard to get where he was. And I saw that he's a super hard worker and very ambitious. That's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about Capricorn ambition. And boy, that's somebody who's got Capricorn ambition. I saw that and I admired it a little bit. I don't admire what he does, but I admire his work ethic and his strength and all of those marathons he runs. That was a funny thing about the emails. They're all like, I ran 8 miles. I ran 10 miles. I ran a marathon. So they talk to each other. I know how those people are. You know, they're very like, I took a walk on the beach. I took a longer walk on the beach. There's a lot of comedy in the Podesta. I kid. I'm being cruel, actually. See, that's my shadow. I'm cruel. I'm actually very cruel and sadistic. It's terrible, but I can't deny it. Anyway, I mean, to some people, I'm very loving too, but no, I don't have a ton of excess empathy for certain people. Absolutely not. Anyway, so this is all about this topic that I'm trying to get to. I can't even finish the story anymore, but who knows? Maybe I'll finish the story tomorrow. So, Black Moon Lilith. We're back on Black Moon Lilith. What is Black Moon Lilith? Black Moon Lilith is a shadow vixen, sexy, secrets, protester, abuse victim. She's that scary woman who is capable of anything. And she's mad. And she might be fighting for the good side. She might be fighting for the bad side. Who knows? And she's a wild woman. And she's just so fed up. So I have a lot of that. And Black Moon Lilith is near my midheaven. I looked at it. It's not close enough, probably, to really affect anything. But I have enough that we can make an argument. Maybe I do. Okay. So I do have a Black Moon Lilith at 9 Capricorn, and my midheaven is at 18 Capricorn. That's a little too far out, even for me. So I'm going to ignore it. But nonetheless, there it is. You know, it is at the top of my chart. It's not really making aspects with anything in my chart. And it's in Capricorn. In Capricorn, that ruthless, hardworking, diligent, persistent, just organized, very, very much indicative of my enemies. They are the Saturn death cult, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So they are doing a lot right. They've been defeating us our entire lives. They had the game rigged before we were born. I give them all the credit in the world for how successful they have been at rigging this game and at enslaving us without us even realizing it. Of course, some of us know we're slaves, but then there's the people like me who had to slowly realize I'm a slave. What's worse? I'm sure it's worse to really be a slave all day. But when you realize slowly that you're a slave on some banker's plantation, it's hard to accept, and I can't accept it, and I won't accept it, and I refuse to accept it. And that is the spirit of Black Moon Lilith. I am completely fed up, incapable of anything. I'm furious. So I'm acknowledging that, I'm not, "Oh, here's my halo, I'm polishing it," and that's how they are, that's the weird thing. If you listen to the dark occultists, they're like, "I just wrote a check to charity, and then I saved an orphan, and then I bought shoes for a homeless person." That's the way they are. So they're so like, they're the saints in this scenario. It's really funny. Anyway, so to have Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn is to combine Saturn energy and this like wild, potentially dangerous female energy, very sexy, very involved with secrets, a very Scorpio Pluto kind of energy. And it's the dark things, it's taboo, it's what you don't really want to face about yourself. Maybe you don't. Yeah, it's the I think it's very associated with this shadow concept, and that is a new age concept, and a lot of new age is dark occult. That's what I've been exposing. But they're not wrong about everything, and we should take the truth wherever we find it. And that is a new age concept that I really agree with. And they're always saying that, like, well, you have to integrate the shadow, and you do have to integrate the shadow. They're right. You have to accept the things about yourself that you don't like and then really become aware of them. And it's such a great way to do that is astrology. So, how do we find out about the things that we don't, that we're ashamed of or we don't want to accept, or we get mad at other people when they do it because we don't like it about ourselves and all this stuff? So, this is all about Black Moon Lilith. And for me to have Black Moon Lilith and Capricorn, the sites, I go through like a lot of sites and I kind of see what they're all saying. And by now I've applied it to myself. So I have my own opinions finally. And that's why we're studying charts, because the only way to really get good at this is to study charts and to see how it comes across. So to have Black Moon Lilith and Capricorn, if you look at a lot of the sites, they'll say that when you have Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, you don't really feel you have the right to be ambitious because Capricorn is all about ambition. And then when other people have ambition, you resent it because you don't really feel you deserve it or something. A lot of the sites says something like that. And then there's the other sites that treat her as almost like a super female Pluto, just really like creative but really destructive. I mean, basically, you're just talking like a very female Pluto anyway. So that's the idea that if this is true, my Black Moon and that Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn would mean that I can't face how ambitious I am. Is that true? That's the question. And then do I get mad at people when they're ambitious? Well, I'll tell you something about my ambition. It's not been any secret to me at all because ambition is a horrific drive. You're ambitious because you're frustrated and unhappy and you're looking for something to make you feel better. It's not great thing to be ambitious. It's a painful thing to be ambitious. So, and who's my idol? Napoleon, the most ambitious person ever. So, I mean, why did I grab onto that? Because I understand what it is to be sad and ambitious and suicidal. Napoleon was those three things. And, as I've said, my project's a kamikaze project. Obviously, I'm provoking organized crime. I know this is a kamikaze project. I'm so fed up. That's how fed up I am. But the world it's not good right now. I don't like I would almost rather roll the dice and see if I could do better. This is terrible. We're under look, they're Satanists. They're Satanists who force us into their rituals. 9/11 was a ritual. 2020 was a big satanic ritual. And I know they hate when you call them Satanists, but they are basically Satanists. Okay. Anyway, so they should accept that they're Satanists. And we should accept that they're Satanists. And we should all accept that we have the right to not be involved in their satanic doings. And making everybody wear masks when there's no medical reason for it is part of a satanic ritual. And, every time I had the misfortune to leave the house over the last few years, somebody tried to force a mask on me. And um, I know it's part of a satanic ritual that they're running on the world, and I think it has something to do with, like, first you let them put this mask on you, and then they kill you. These are death rituals, and I've been, kind of holding myself back and not just saying it outright because I know people are like, "Oh, I'm so programmed to not believe these things," but can we just get past this? They're whatever their religion is, they have some sort of it's an interesting religion, whatever, and it's kind of about the hero's journey, and it is about improvement. They just have this kind of a narcissistic selfishness to them, which is so beyond normal narcissism. This is like they think they're gods, therefore they can do anything they want. I mean, it's not like they just go, say Hail Satan all day. I mean, I know that they don't do that, but it's a religion that's just very inhumane, and it does involve killing children, and this has been out since the '80s, and they've been wonderful at hiding it and coming up with every media trick, PR trick in the world, but this is a constant marauding and killing we're dealing with, and, it has to end, and the Black Moon Lilith energy is that energy of that person. It's so fed up. What I'm doing is it's so upsetting to people, and so many people are so unhappy about what I'm doing, but it's so necessary. Someone has to do it. So I'm trying to show you how something terrible like me can be wonderful because it's so needed. Okay? So that's why we learn about our shadow selves to find out, oh, I'm really good at doing certain things and they are kind of dark and they are kind of negative, but maybe I could use it for good and I could improve my life and integrate that part of me. And I just see so much of that with Cohen because he's so dark. He's so incredibly dark, but he like embraces it. And it's like a superpower how dark he is. And it's impressive. And he has a very similar Black Moon Lilith to mine. And his is like even darker. Because mine's Lilith in Capricorn. That's pretty dark. And then he has Black Moon Lilith. And this is on my astrology report if you'd like to follow along. And I wrote all of this out so you could easily read what I'm talking about. But his Black Moon Lilith is aligned with Saturn. Okay, so I have it in a constellation ruled by Saturn. Okay, so I have Black Moon Lilith associated with Saturn, and he has Black Moon Lilith aligned with Saturn. Okay, so we both have Black Moon Lilith with Saturn. Okay, and he has it in Scorpio. Okay. Okay, so think about that. So if you go with a lot of the sites, it would say, oh, Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio is not comfortable with its like need to be possessive or just need to be like a Scorpio. A Scorpio wants power. A Scorpio wants passion. A Scorpio wants control. A Scorpio wants to win. It's just Scorpio is it's like the other really ambitious sign is Scorpio and Capricorn. And I'm showing you all these aspects of Cohen's chart between Scorpio and Capricorn and how he's like more ambitious than Napoleon. Napoleon, just from one chart to the other, Napoleon has a wimpy chart in regard to ambition compared to Cohen's. It's just no question about it. I put it up yesterday. So if you want to see Napoleon's chart and how Napoleon's chart's very lucky. He's lucky, but sometimes too much luck means you lose it. And that's exactly what happened to Napoleon. He got it too easy, but it was supposed to play out that way. Unfortunately, I think every day I believe this more. I think everything is playing out the way it's supposed to play out. And there's such horrible things that happen, and it's hard to accept that. I agree with that. But all of this bizarreness that's happening right now, I think it's all very fated. And we're just like walking through it. And I think we both have a lot of clue what's coming. And because once you start to get that vision, you can see like, oh, this all has to happen this way. What's going to happen is going to happen. And that was Napoleon's belief. He truly believed in that. And I wasn't even sure I agreed with him. Napoleon believed like fate is fate. You're going to die when you're going to die. It doesn't matter really too much what you do. And Napoleon would have all of these conversations on St. Helena about it. And then his doctor O'Meara would say, yeah, but what about, what about? And Napoleon would be like, yeah, I know, but really, Napoleon believed in fate. Anyway, so now you're seeing that obviously we're both very psychic. Oh my goodness. And we have a lot of clairvoyance. Sometimes I think he has a lot more, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's coming. This is going to happen. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I don't think I don't think anybody can deviate from the path anymore. I I don't know if we ever could, but these are very deeply philosophical ideas. But I'm trying to show you that we have some really, 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 really harmonious things going on with our charts, and they're really going in the same direction. And you would think that me and him would be the opposite of everything. We actually are the opposite, but in a dyad, like we're the opposite of the same. It's obvious. And I'm showing you that because he has this black moon Lilith, it's just like a protesting energy, or it's so necessary right now, this black moon Lilith energy, because we need to protest. We need to say, no, 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 no. No, we will not participate in your rituals. That's the whole problem. People don't say no. And then they laugh at us. And they're like, ha ha ha, it's so easy. We can get them to participate in anything. I've talked to them. They are like that. They are arrogant like you can't believe. They laugh at us all the time for putting up with them. I'm telling you this. And because we put up with them, they think we're so unbelievably stupid. And they're right. This is a big problem. They're right about a lot of things. Okay? We are so stupid to put up with them. And they can't believe how stupid we are. And they're constantly thinking, uh-oh, they're going to unite and they're going to do something about us one day. They think about this all of the time. And then when they're not thinking about that, they're laughing at us because we're so stupid and we're not doing it. They live a nightmare because any second could be the second that they get that knock at the door. Me as well, but my soul is in order. Theirs are not. See what I'm saying? I can face anything and know, and know, and know God will see me through. I know this. They do not have this, and they really should consider flipping. Seriously. I mean, John Podesta should flip because look at what they did to him. And they will throw him over. Oh my goodness, the first chance they get. That's how they do it. They throw people over. No one's noticed. They just drop them in the volcano, drop them in the volcano. Okay? Think John Podesta is it next? He should flip. I mean, when Alan Dershowitz did what he did, I was like, there's a smart man. Some people are smart and some people are not smart. Okay. And we are learning these days who is smart and who is not smart. Who is smart is Alan Dershowitz, and who is smart is Cohen, because they are recognizing the opportunities and how to protect themselves. That banking dynasty is nowhere near as strong as people thought. Okay. Everybody knows this, myself included. I thought they were stronger than they are. They're not that strong. They can't come out, and they are involved with very serious child trafficking. Okay. And while everybody's been putting up with them, I don't know how much they're going to put up with understanding what they do to children. Franklin Cover Up is the book. Okay. That's the truth. It has stood for decades. That is the horrific reality of that banking dynasty. I haven't been able to just say it outright directly because they play so many games to make it difficult to talk about them. Guess why? Because this is the truth. Okay? Everything shows us the truth. We cannot let a certain group on this earth do that habitually to children. No, I can't believe this. This is horrible. And everyone anywhere near them knows what they're doing to children. Okay. Oh, and it's in the Podesta emails. Okay. This is unbelievable. Oh my goodness. James Elephantis. Okay? That Instagram says it all. Everything. Okay? The facts are not in question. Humanity is in question. Boundaries are in question. Okay, so check that out. The Black Moon Lilith situation on Cohen's chart, because he's a big time protester. He is in it to win it, okay? And he is like Barracuda next to Napoleon. It's incredible. It's incredible. So I like to see that. I like to see that. And if we're super dark, then we'll make the best of it, because that's all we can do. Because I have a lot of Pluto energy too. I know all about that. You can use it for good, but you have to understand it. Anyway, so we have read our last Napoleon emotional sweet letter. It's so sad, but he's never like that again. We never see, and that is the real Napoleon. I know that is. He's a very good person, and that's the real him. Very emotional, very sweet. But once he's been hurt, he closes up the gate, and he gets very prickly and stern. And now you're seeing the other side of Napoleon. And I just looked at it. So this is like 3 years later. Okay, 3 years after. Can you imagine if this were a movie? He's like crying in Italy, and she won't show up. What happens? Oh, I have to tell you what happens. All right. So basically, he finds out about her, and then she gets scared and changes her tune and begs him to take her back. He says, "No way." And then she cries and cries and cries and cries and cries. And then she gets her children to cry to him. This is what she did. And then I think this is true. And Hortense, his stepdaughter, cried to him and said, "You said you were going to take care of me." This is going to make me cry. Anyway, so Josephine used Hortense to keep Napoleon, okay? And she knew it worked, because it worked there. You see how it works? This is history. This is the history I can tell you that no one else can tell you. Anyway, so this is after that. Okay, imagine. Anyway, so here it is. I have been here at Lausanne since yesterday. I leave tomorrow. My health is fairly good. This country is very beautiful. I see no difficulty about your coming to meet me here any time within the next 10 or 12 days, but you must come incognito and not disclose where you are going, because I do not wish that anything should be known about my doings. You may say that you are going to Plombier. I'm going to send you Moustache, who has just come back. 1,000 tender things for Hortense. Eugène will not be here inside 8 days. He is en route. Bonaparte. It says it all. Anyway, it's so funny. You know, I have this wacky story that I hardly believe myself, that I'm a reincarnation of Hortense and Cohen's reincarnation of Napoleon. And then just constant, oh, and then they're twin flames. And then it's constant arrows saying that it's true. It's hard to believe. I'm telling you, for me, it's hard to believe. I have trouble believing. It's really funny. It's really funny. I'm like, is this real? Every day I'm still like that. Anyway, so hopefully one day I'll convince myself, and then you'll be like marveling at how doubtful I am. Okay. So now we're going to go back into this incredible time in Cohen's life where, oh my goodness, it's amazing. It's like the beginning of the Napoleon memoirs, like the golden beginning, and then everything just gets darker and darker, and I know that that's what's going to happen, because I got it. So he had this incredible environment that was so creative, and he was living in this bohemian environment, and he was listening to great music, and the Stones were around, and Peter Green was around in the blues section, and his dad was on TV. It sounds like, a lot was going well. And he has his best friend Joel, and they're in the meteors. It's really cute. Okay, so let's continue the cunningly hidden record player. The cunning. You'll see the ambition and the cunning in this. Okay, let's continue. I was probably this sporting disaster. I said that wrong. It was probably this sporting disaster that persuaded our parents that we should channel our energies into pop music. We spent hours drawing guitars and a logo for our band name on a drum kit before graduating to making flat replica guitars cut out of large cardboard boxes. It was fairly easy to draw the volume controls, pickups, switches, and strings on the body of the guitar, but finding a strong enough, long enough piece of cardboard for the neck was always a problem. Some of our bass creations only made it through one or two vigorous performances before the long neck would bend in two. Our cardboard guitars were more durable, especially if they were modeled after John Lennon's short scale Rickenbacker, but I'd switched to drums by then, having devised a satisfying way of imitating the rattle of a snare drum by placing a heavy piece of Meccano on a biscuit tin and whacking it with knitting needles or the handles of wooden kitchen spoons. You might wonder how we managed to produce any sound at all with our cardboard guitars and biscuit tins, but the meteors cunningly concealed a record player behind the curtains in the front room. So we were able to sound almost as good as the Foremost or Billy J. Kramer and the Dakotas. I'd picked up a few good performance tips when my mother had taken me to Granada Kingston to see a NEMS Records package tour. I was 9 years old and still easily impressed. It was exciting just to see a collection of people who probably knew the Beatles personally. The bill consisted almost entirely of acts from Liverpool, who were managed by Brian Epstein. In the wake of the Beatles' initial success, Epstein had developed a stable of decent to middling talents who each seemed to have a minor song that Lennon and McCartney had probably written during their lunch hour. The show opened with a young singer who had a brand new handle that Brian Epstein had given him. It sounded less like a name than a lover's command, and perhaps that was the intention. Tommy, quickly? Unfortunately, quickly was how the fickle public forgot him. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a good night.